How's it going, everybody? Texas Man here. Hope you guys are all having a fabulous day. If you guys would, please give this video a thumbs up if you guys do really enjoy it. Subscribe, of course, if you guys have not already. Also, do me the biggest favor of all, make sure you guys hit the bell notification button so you guys don't miss out on future videos or streams here on the channel. And as always, if you guys have any movies, TV shows, or games you guys would like me to cover here on the channel, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will get to covering them as soon as possible. As always, we're going to talk positives and negatives, talking about the third Hunger Games movie, The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1. This film came out in 2014. It is rated PG-13, and it's about 2 hours long. The film follows Katniss after being rescued from the 75th Hunger Games, and she ends up joining the supposedly destroyed District 13, and the District 13 second's attempt of a rebellion in order to save a brainwashed PETA and defeat, hopefully, President Snow. Solid performances from everybody, from all the returning characters from the past two movies and the new ones alike. If you guys haven't had a chance to, I have a review of Hunger Games Catching Fire, and The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, all in a Hunger Games playlist here on the channel, so you can watch all of that. And, of course, I'm going to be doing a review of Mockingjay Part 2 very soon, so look forward to that. It's coming out as well. The political drama-like moments in the film are really well done. However, that's what 99% of this movie is. There really isn't anything not politically drama-driven in this movie until, like, the last 10-15 minutes, when District 13 finally gets bombed by the Capitol, and everyone in District 13 is having to hide in the military bunker. That's when action finally starts happening, and that's when I actually started to, care about what's happening. Because while dealing with a lot of the slow motion parts of the first film, dealing with trauma, dealing with grief, dealing with a brainwashed PETA is fine, the movie just spends so much time on it, and I feel like it's completely unnecessary. Mockingjay did not need to be cut into two parts. I think, honestly, it should have been a one-movie epic conclusion, and it should have been 3 hours long. I have this exact same complaint with a lot of two-part finale films. That's one thing about the Maze Runner movies I enjoyed, is that they realized we don't need to cut the final book, The Death Cure, into a two-movie epic conclusion. Harry Potter did it. Didn't really need it. Hunger Games did it. Didn't really need it. The Divergent film series attempted to do it. They never even got the second film out. So, yeah. What's another example? Twilight. Didn't need it. These two-part finale movies that have been coming out in the past decade or so don't need to happen. I think Hollywood realized that, and I think they're kind of finally moving away from it. But it's like, when you think about it, what would have happened if The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, was made into two movies instead of there just being a normal version and the extended? Like, having a 3 to 5 hour movie, people like that. Now, if you're trying to incorporate a lot of source material and the book is huge, like, for example, Dune, it's like a 600-700 page book. Having that divided into two, 3 hour movies, that makes sense, okay? Because there's so much source material you're trying to get from book to screen. That makes sense. But I hate to break it to you guys. Just because a book can be long doesn't mean you need to incorporate every single boring aspect of it. Okay, the Hunger Games books, they're not that long. They're not 6, 7, 800, 9-page epics. They're not that long. And you could have just easily cut out a lot of the slow parts of not only part 1, but part 2. There are parts in part 2 that I think could have been cut out. And it could have made a nice 3-hour conclusion to the story. It could have been something like what they did with the Maze Runner films. But because they didn't, this movie is just really boring. It's really hard to keep engaged with the characters and the plots 100% of the time. There's so much of this film I'm just like, oh. Still got another hour to go. Unfortunately, guys, I think The Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1 is only worth watching if you've never seen it or you're just doing like a binge session. But when it comes to the Hunger Games movies, a lot of times I will just skip it. I will go from Catching Fire to Mockingjay Part 2. And if I need a refresh, I'll watch a 5-minute video on YouTube. But there's really nothing all that grandiose that happens in Part 1. It feels like a boring middle child between Catching Fire and Mockingjay Part 2. So with that, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. And I'll see you guys on the next video or stream. Bye, guys.